Hello friends, welcome. Today in this lecture we will talk more about the production function. There is two types of the production function. That is, the first one is the short run production function and the second one is the long run production function. The short run production function talks about the one variable input, that is the law of the variable proportion, and the second one is talk about the many variable input. Okay. And the another concept that is known as the isoquant that talks about the two variable input. So, this is about the production function. In this lecture, we will talk about in detail the long run production function and the isoquant. Let's start with the isoquant, that is the two variable function. What is the isoquant? Isoquant is the various combination. It's a curve. It is a curve that represent various combination of two inputs. Let's we have the two input like labor and capital. Then it will talk about the two input. We have the various combination of the two input and that produce the same level of output. So this curve is known as the isoquant curve. Let's understand this with the help of the example. Let me have the land, labor and the capital. Let me have the labor of 2 unit and the capital of 5 unit, and it helps to produce the 10 unit of output. If we are increasing the labor, then it will become 3 and the capital is 4, and that will also help to produce the 10 unit of output. So this is the combination of two input, that is the labor and the capital, that is able to produce the same level of output. So this is about the isoquant. Then how to draw the isoquant curve? When we have the different combination of two inputs and putting that into the graph and joining that point with curve, we have the isoquant curve. So this way we are able to produce the isoquant curve. Let's understand this with the help of the drawing it onto the graph itself. Here we have the graph. Here on the x-axis we have the labor and on the y-axis we have the capital. From different points, from the different combination, let's this and this, here we have the labor and this is the capital. So this is one of point, this is the second, this is the third, and it's a fourth combination, and joining this all the point we have a curve, and this curve is known as the isoquant curve. Here we have on the x-axis we have the labor and on the y-axis we have the capital, and that produce the output, and this curve is known as the isoquant curve. So this way we are able to draw the isoquant curve. We have understood about the isoquant curve. There are some properties of the isoquant curve. What are the properties? Let's start. The first one is the isoquant curve. The curve is downward sloping. It's a downward sloping. and it is also in the right direction. Let's understand it. This is our isoquant curve, okay, and it is downward from here to here, and so it is from left to the right. This is known as the isoquant curve is downward sloping and it into the right direction. The second property is higher the isoquant curve, higher the curve, higher the output. We have the graph of it over here, and understand this with the help of the graph. It's an isoquant graph. Here and on the x-axis also we have the labor, and on the y-axis we have the capital, and this is the three isoquant curve, the first, the second and the third. On the first we are producing the 50 units, on the second we are producing the 10, and on the third we are producing the 100 unit of goods with the various combination of the inputs. So when we have this, when we are on the second isoquant curve and the third is higher than the second isoquant curve, so as higher the isoquant curve, the production, the output of it is also higher. So 150 is higher than the 100, and when the lower the isoquant curve, that is first is lower than the second, then the output of it is also lower. So this is about this property, that higher the curve, higher the output. The third property of the isoquant curve is it is convex to the origin. Here we have our isoquant curve, and here it's an origin point. So it is in this direction, so it is known as it is convex to the origin. And the fourth property is it will never intersect with each other. So here it is one isoquant curve, this is the second curve, this is the third. So this way we have the isoquant curve, so it will never intersect. But there are some cases in which it is intersect. Let's talk about these cases. So we have this curve, in this the isoquant curve, that one is producing the 100 unit of good and second is producing the 200 unit of good. This is the the isoquant curve, and this both is intersecting, but we have the property that it will never intersect. Then it's a case when it is here intersecting, that means there is a combination of input that produces two level of output. Then and then only the isoquant curve can intersect with each other. So this is about the isoquant curve. Let's move on to the long-range production function, that is a many variable production function. Long-range production function. In the long run, all the variables are subject to change, or we can say all the inputs are subject to the change is a case of the long range production function. Here we have the labor, capital, these both are subject to the variation, is known as the long range production function. In these, both of these can vary. What is the case in the short run production function? In the short run production function, only the labor can vary. So when we are increasing the quantity of labor, and when we are keeps on increasing, after some point of time it will declining. But these limitation we do not have in the long run production function. So long run production function removes the limitation of the short run production function by allowing the many inputs to a variable subject to the variation. So this is about the long run production function. How we have the land and capital, and that are subject to the change. So the ways, what are the ways in which it can change? The first, that is the land and capital can change in same proportion, or the land and capital can change in different proportion. Okay, so when it is changing into the same proportion, we have the returns to scale. Okay, there are three types of returns to scale. Let's understand these in detail. When the functions, the function is, the output function is the land and capital. Okay, when we are doubling it, when we are doubling the function, the output will also double. So when we are doubling the input, double the input, output will also double. This is known as the constant return to scale. Okay, when we are doubling the input and the output will also double, then we have the constant return to scale. Here when we are doubling the input and the output is more, then so when we are double the input and output, double the input, output is higher, then it is known as the increasing return to scale. This is the second type of the return to scale. The third one is when we have the function and when we are doubling the inputs, the output is, here is the output, and output is less than the input. When we are double the input and output is less, okay, output is less, then it is known as the decreasing returns to scale. Okay, let's understand this with the help of the graph. We have the graph, let's have the graph. Here on the graph we are showing how the constant return to scale, the increasing return to scale and the decreasing return to scale is happening. So here it's a x-axis and on the y-axis we have the labor here and capital over here. Okay, when we have the 1 unit of labor and 1 unit of capital, it's this point, input, okay, and here this 2 unit of capital and 2 unit of labor. Okay, this is producing the, it is here, it's a this combination. So at these the production is 1 unit. At 1 unit we have 1 unit of production. At here these point it's an isoquant curve, we have the 2 unit of production. So when we are double the amount, that is 1 plus 1, when we are doubling the amount, the output that will become 1 from 2, that is it is also increasing, then it is known as the constant return to scale. But here when we are doubling the input, that is 2 to 4, and here it also 2 to 4, that here we have this curve, this is the other isoquant curve, and the output will become 3. Okay, here the output is becoming 3. So the input is doubling, but output is not doubling, that is it will not become 2 to 4, but it is 3. So this is known as the decreasing return to scale. When we are again doubling the capital and the input, here at this point we have the combination, this is our isoquant curve, and the production is 7. So it is more than doubled, that is 3 plus 3 is 6, but it is more than the double. Then it is known as the increasing return to scale. So this is about the production. This is about the long-run production function and the return to scale, in which we have this is in here we have the constant return to scale. Here we have the decreasing return to scale, and this point we have the increasing return to scale. So in the summary, the return to scale talk about the increasing return to scale, decreasing return to scale, and the constant return to scale. This is all about the production function in the long run. Here in this lecture we have talked about the production function, in these the long run production function and the isoquant. Hope you have understand this concept very well. In the next